In this video, we will explore the use of the publisher ruler and work with guidelines in our publication. So when you open a new document, horizontal and vertical rulers should be displayed by default. If you don't happen to see these rulers, you can turn them on by selecting the View tab and then checking the box next to Rulers within the Show group. Notice if I uncheck the box, they disappear. If I check the box, they come back. You can also right-click within the scratch area or blank area outside of the publication and choose Rulers from the drop-down list. So notice they've gone away. I right-click in the scratch area and I choose Rulers to bring them back. Rulers are used to measure the placement of elements, like shapes, text, and images in our publication. Notice that at the top left corner of the publication, the 0, 0 intersection is placed on the two rulers. If for any reason you want to change this setting, you could click and hold your left mouse button on that small square where the rulers come together, and then drag the intersection to the publication. The location where you let go of the mouse will be that new 0, 0 intersection. If you wanted to return these settings to their original state, you could simply click on that box again and drag the rulers back. If you think about only wanting to move one of the rulers closer to the page, like you wanted to take the vertical ruler and put it right up against your page here in the workspace, then you want to hover your mouse over the ruler and then hold down the Shift button on your keyboard and then drag the ruler to the right, left, up, or down. Notice when I let go of my left mouse button, that ruler is right up against our publication's page. You can do this with both the horizontal and the vertical rulers independently, or like we talked about moments ago, you can move them both at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and move that ruler back. You still may be wondering why rulers are so important. So one answer to that question is that without rulers showing you, you cannot draw guidelines, which will help you as you create your publication. So what are guidelines? Well, guidelines are temporary horizontal or vertical lines that display on your publication within Publisher, but are not displayed when the publication is printed. These guidelines allow you to place elements in your document on an exact location. So if you want to insert a guideline, you would place your cursor on the ruler, left-click your mouse button, and then start to drag your cursor onto the publication space. Notice that as you move your mouse onto the document, a thin green line is displayed. So you would want to move this green line until, let's say, we reach the 4-inch mark on our page. If you're worried about putting the guideline in the precise location, don't worry, because as you can see in the status bar, the precise location of your mouse will be displayed. Should you want to move this guideline in the future, you would simply left-click on the guideline and then move the mouse to the left or right to place the guideline in the new location. You can duplicate a guideline by holding the Control key on your keyboard while you left-click and hold, and then drag your new guideline to the new location within the publication. Notice I can continue to do that until I've got several different guidelines all over my publications page. I'm going to go ahead and undo that option. If you'd like to place a guideline in a precise location, you can also right-click on the guideline, and then from the drop-down menu, you can choose Ruler Guides. When you do that, it brings up the Ruler Guides dialog box. In this box, we can type a precise location for the ruler guide, and then we can click the Set button. So in this case, if I wanted to choose 3.65 inches, I could type 3.65, click Set, and it will add it here to my list. If you wanted to remove an existing guide, like the one at 7.167 for me, you can select it, and then over on the right-hand side, choose Clear. And of course, if we wanted to get rid of all of the guides that are listed here, we could go ahead and click Clear All. Notice that this list is only a list of the vertical guidelines that I have within my publication. We could click the tab up the top for horizontal if we wanted to set any horizontal guides. When you're finished in this dialog box, you can go ahead and click OK. So although we talked about how we can clear a guideline in the dialog box we were just in, we can also delete a guideline by simply right-clicking on the guideline and then choosing from the drop-down list the option that says Delete Guide. Another advantage of using these guidelines is that when you add elements to your document, they will snap to the guideline and perfectly line up with it. And we'll talk more about that feature in a later video. So this concludes our tutorial on rulers and guidelines. Pretty straightforward. In subsequent videos, the practical use of these features will become more clear as we start to add elements to our page, so be sure to stay tuned.